David Eby came out of the gates running this week with new legislation designed to help combat the housing crisis. But is this actually going to help? Or will it just take away owner rights? Let's get into it. My name is Jeff McLennan, and I am a realtor with the Valley McLennan Real Estate team at RE/MAX All Points in New Westminster. And on this channel, we discuss what's going on with real estate in the Lower Mainland, and we showcase our listings. So if any of that seems interesting to you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and let's talk about what's going on. So newly elected Premier David Eby introduced his first piece of legislation. And part of that legislation was an amendment to the Strata Property Act. If it goes through on Thursday, which is today, it will take effect immediately, and it will change two things. It will take away rental restrictions and age restrictions. So why is he doing this? Well, Eby says that this is going to open up thousands of new rental opportunities in the Lower Mainland. And that's probably true. There is an estimated 2,900 vacant homes in the Lower Mainland that hopefully would get rented out at this point. One thing we've seen is you'd have to be living under a rock not to have been paying attention to the housing crisis that we are going through in Greater Vancouver and across the country right now. Housing prices have been dropping steadily since the summer due to interest rates going up. But what we haven't seen is that affecting rentals. In fact, rentals are still 11.8% higher than they were last year. And Vancouver is now ranked in the top 35 most expensive places to rent in the world. According to renters.ca, the average one bedroom goes for $2,576 a month, and a two bedroom goes for $3,521. That's a lot. To put that in perspective, rental increases more than double the average wage increase over the last year. So I get it, something has to be done. Let's talk about each of these two things separately. The first is getting rid of age restrictions. Now there are two age restrictions currently which are legal in BC, 19-year plus and 55-year plus. They are not doing anything to change the 55 plus buildings. So you still are allowed to have communities that are designed for senior living. What they're getting rid of is the 19 plus. Now, and you might be saying, but I've seen 45 plus buildings. There are buildings with other age restrictions, they're probably not enforceable. So they're getting rid of 19 plus, and Eby says that basically people shouldn't have to move out of their homes just because they have a kid, and families need places to live. And I can tell you firsthand here in New Westminster, I've seen this. I have two separate clients who live in the townhouses on Jameson, which is a 19-year plus building, who have had to sell because their life plans changed. And that really sucks. And I can also tell you that every single time I list a home in there, and it's one of my favorite complexes in New West, I love those townhouses, over half of the calls I get are families asking, do they really enforce these bylaws? And currently, they do. On the removing rental restrictions, I have much more mixed feelings about this, and I am totally sympathetic to why it's being done, and maybe it's a necessary evil. I have no problem with renters. I don't believe, as far as building community goes, that people who rent versus people that own, that there is any difference. Having renters in the building doesn't hurt the community of the building in any way. However, having too many landlords can be a very real detriment. And the BC Condo Association immediately responded to this, talking about how buildings with too many landlords tend not to do as much maintenance as buildings that are all owner-occupied. And firsthand, I've experienced that as well. There is a notorious building in New West that is almost entirely landlord-owned, and whenever work needs to be done in the property, they always vote no, because whether or not you replace the roof or the balconies this year doesn't affect their bottom line. If you live in a strata, anytime you want to do anything extra outside of the approved budget, you have to have either a special general meeting or it gets handled at the annual general meeting, and you need to have a majority. And that doesn't mean 51% vote for this new extra work, that means 75%. So it doesn't take too many people voting no to really change the maintenance and ongoing care of a building. This notorious building I was talking about put off doing their pipes for years. Every time it was put to a vote, they voted no. Until finally, the owners who wanted it done took them to court, and the court ordered that they had to actually do their pipes because they were physically damaging the building to a point of no return. It is not a good idea to invest in a building where nobody wants to do work. And that's my big fear. So what's the answer? In all honesty, I don't know. Maybe you just really hope that you don't get too many landlords, or that if you've got landlords, that they're, good ones who want to take care of their investment. Maybe the rules along how we vote for work being done has to change. I'm not sure. I understand the problem that needs to be solved, and I think opening up more rentals is really good. I just don't want the care that goes into buildings to go out the window with the rule. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you like these changes? Do you like some but not all of them? Are you against these changes? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. David Eby came out of the gate running. David Eby came out of the gate running with. David Eby came out of the gates running. David Eby came out of the gates running this. David Eby came out of the gates running this week with new.